What in the world do you do when the trials just keep coming? When you feel like you honestly and truly cannot fight anymore? When you see all the positive promises of hope and goodness and prosperity and reward, and you can in no way identify with those verses or even imagine a day when you might. That is when we cling to the verse in 2 Corinthians 4 verse 8 to 9, where Paul says, "We are afflicted in every way, but not crushed, perplexed, but not driven to despair, persecuted, but not forsaken, struck down, but not destroyed." And we hold on to Romans 8 verse 28. "All things work for the good of those that love God, who are called according to his purpose." This journey I have been on has been one trial after another, and just when it seemed like the clouds were lifting, another wave came crashing down. Through it all, I have been keenly aware that it is God's sovereign hand over my life. That this really isn't about me. It is for the Lord's glory to be made manifest. Yes, at times, it can be painful, discomfort, and not easy. But what do you do when there is relentless torrent of trials crashing through your life? You go beyond religion and cling to Jesus. You study his word. You seek him with everything you have got. In those moments, God led me to study Genesis and Job, and he spoke so clearly to me through the stories of Joseph and Job. That is what has been sustaining me through this time. Because here is the honest truth. You can know the scriptures, you can quote the verses, and still feel the pain. And in my study, God taught me a few truths that became a balm to my soul. He taught me that every trial is not the end of me, but a setup for high calling. In both Job and Joseph's stories, it's so clear. Nothing happened outside of God's plan. God is always in control. Joseph's dreams looked buried, lost in betrayal and prison, but God came through. He raised him up to save many lives. From pain to purpose, God made him thrive. God's trials never end in ruin. They grow us. They change us. Job lost everything, yet God restored him. He was doubly blessed. His children weren't replaced, just waiting in eternity. And Job, he became a different man who raised godly children, shaped by grace. Joseph, he changed too. He went from being an arrogant dreamer to a humble servant of God. He stopped taking credit and gave all the glory to God. He forgave his brothers, not because it was easy, but because he saw God's bigger plan. And in the end, he rose to the highest position under Pharaoh. His family was restored and healed relationships that had once been shattered. God fully put back together what he had taken apart. And the beautiful thing is that there is purpose in all of it. And because there is purpose, there will also be an end. These trials you are facing, they aren't random. They are not out of control. They haven't taken God by surprise. Sometimes, yeah, they are consequences. Sometimes they are tests. Sometimes they are preparation. But they are never without purpose, because God will bring them to completion. Despite what I was going through, I found deep comfort, not just in the promises, but in the stories. Job and Joseph offered a kind of empathy and understanding that was soothing. And even though they have long since been in heaven, their stories walked with me like companions. Dear friends, every trial is not the end of you. It is the making of you, because God is in control. There is purpose behind this pain, and when God is finished, when he brings you through, you will look back and realize that trial didn't break you, it made you. I want to know, has God ever led you to a specific Bible story in a hard season, one that gave you peace, strength, or clarity? Share it. We did love to know. Leave it in the comments section below. God bless you.